Yes, after Trump gave them signed MAGA hats and selfies.
Because how many MAGA assholes are on Medicaid? I'd be really interested to know the actual statistics, but I'm sure plenty of them are.
This is how it went.
Why you voting for Trump for? Because I'm fucking tired of being broke.
And this is how it's going.
I've been fucking pumped for this no tax on overtime. I've been fucking ecstatic, dude. I know America's been waiting on this shit. Everybody's been bragging. Man, I can't wait. I'm gonna have so much extra money. It's gonna, bring in so much more money per month. Wrong.
We don't want to hear shit when you lose your Medicaid. We don't want to hear shit when you lose your SNAP. We don't want to hear shit from those states when FEMA doesn't show up for your tornadoes, hurricanes, and floods this year. We don't want to hear shit when you figure out that those tax breaks are not for you, but they're for the rich. We don't want to hear shit when you figure out that no tax on tips and overtime ain't even real. We don't want to hear shit when you figure out that he is increasing the debt ceiling by trillions of dollars, which is going to cost us a lot, because we try to tell you. So you're excited about this bill passing? Just remember, when all that shit happens to you, to not open your fucking mouth.
They passed it. They passed the budget bill. There's been a lot of arguments over what this bill has been called. The president wanted to call it the one big beautiful bill because of how many things it does in a single document. Other people have called it the big ugly bill. But I think it should be referred to as the bill because that's exactly what it's going to do to so many Americans. It's going to make them die slow in front of our very eyes. Millions of people are going to be cut off of Medicaid, which is a different name in every single state. Some of you don't even know that your family members are on Medicaid. In Pennsylvania, it's called medical assistance. In other places, it has other different names, so that way they could pretend that the federal government wasn't helping their citizens. SNAP benefits are going to be gutted for millions of people, which means more people are going to be hungry and desperate. Other things that kept people from having to make tough decisions, very tough decisions, are now going to be ripped from their hands. And why? For austerity. That's what they're going to call it. They're going to call it austerity for poor people, for working people. But for the most ostentatious people, there is no austerity. For people with billionaire phone party yachts, for people who get to wakeboard on their private Hawaiian islands, for everyone on the Epstein list, all of them, they get to live lavish lifestyles because their tax cuts have been locked in. There are so many things in this giant bill that have made sure that so many of us will die slow, but it doesn't matter because Republicans got theirs. Donald Trump is going to sign this bill on the 249th anniversary of Americans' Declaration of Independence from a tyrant. And he'll be handed the bill by J.D. Vance, a man who claimed that he was an Ohio hillbilly who has done nothing but destroy the very place that brought him to the dance.
This is how it went.
Why you voting for Trump for? Because I'm fucking tired of being broke.
And this is how it's going.
I've been fucking pumped for this no tax on overtime. I've been fucking ecstatic, dude. I know America's been waiting on this shit. Everybody's been bragging. Man, I can't wait. I'm gonna have so much extra money. It's gonna, bring in so much more money per month. Wrong. I did the fine print looking. It is not fucking gonna help us month to month. It's not gonna help your check none. They're still gonna tax the fuck out of your goddamn check.
Buddy, you voted for the man who lied over 33,000 times while in his first term, has conned people his whole entire life, and you yourself expected not to get lied to and conned? Well, I guess this is what it looks like when a Trump supporter decides to wake up, take the boot out of his mouth, and realize, yo, we were right. Donald Trump's only interest is giving tax breaks to his billionaire best friend, while screwing over the middle class. We told you that. You said, ain't no way that a billionaire
shocked that that was approved by people that were voted in to represent Americans. I cannot believe that they just voted to approve ICE to go from being funded $10 billion to $100 billion. You just think, how could people vote for that? How could people vote for that? How could people sleep at night? How could they vote for that? I think that I am grieving America. I am grieving the America that I used to know. That used to be heroes. That used to be like the good guy. I mean, they were arrogant, but they weren't evil. And those people that voted to increase funding for ICE from $10 billion to $100 billion, to take healthcare insurance away from 10 million Americans, to take food away from children. They're the bad guys.
Maybe when your neighbors are dying in the streets, maybe that will wake people up. Maybe when people are getting foreclosed on in their homes, maybe that will wake people up and there are no resources to turn to. Maybe when you have to take in all of your elderly relatives because their nursing homes are being shut down, maybe that's when people wake up. Maybe when children in your community are starving and malnourished. There's already 1 in 10 children in the United States facing food insecurity. Maybe that will wake people up. Maybe when you have to drive 3 hours away to go to a hospital because they're closing rural hospitals left and right with this bill, maybe that will wake people up. I don't know what it's going to take to wake people up to the conditions of so many people living in this country. Maybe we'll wake up.
That bill is passed. Over $900 billion in Medicaid cuts. SNAP is being cut. Student loans, Pell Grants, harder to get. ICE is about to be the biggest law enforcement group in the country. ICE. There's $100 billion going to the defense, and the 1% is about to live their best life like they've been doing this whole time. Hospitals are about to start shutting down, which some of them are already prepared to start shutting down. It's going to be harder for a lot of people now. A lot of people are about to die, and that's not even a joke. And it makes me sad because a lot of y'all MAGA people, y'all voted for this man because he was a white man, and he had how many felonies and how many failed businesses, but it didn't matter. Because I would rather vote for the white man who has no experience and is not here for the whole American body than vote for a black woman who's had the experience her whole life and actually wanted us to do better. Wanted better for America and for all the Republicans, y'all spineless POSs. Y'all, I hope y'all get unseated. I really do. But for everybody else, we tried. We did the best we could. We did the best we could. Primaries is what's next. I'm taking a break. I need a break from this app. I need a break from everything. Because I feel like November all over again. When Republicans were saying that, oh, Project 2025 isn't real. It's not real. It doesn't exist. And then turn around and after he won, it's real. And now they're saying, oh, we are touching Medicaid. Now they admit it after they passed the bill. So y'all dummies, y'all fell for it again. Congratulations, y'all screwed all of America.
They fucking did it. The House passed the big ugly bill. A legislative middle finger to the working class, the poor, the sick, and the elderly. And while the rich are popping champagne, the rest of you are about to drown in the consequences you voted for, ignored, or helped manifest through performative bullshit. Republican senators and representatives just screwed over their own constituents. And red states, many of the poorest in the country, are getting crushed first. So let me speak clearly to every single group that brought us to this point. To every Trump voter, fuck off. You voted for this. You weren't corruption, and you wanted more. Well, here it is. Your rural hospitals are shutting down. Your grandma's nursing home is going under. Your insulin's about to cost more than your rent. You dragged us all the way down with you, and I hope you feel every goddamn consequence. No sympathy, just suffering. You earned it. To everyone who didn't vote, fuck off. You sat on your hands while the house was on fire. You thought silence made you neutral? It didn't. It made you complicit. You had power and refused to use it. So next time your community loses access to healthcare, your rent skyrockets, or your elderly parents can't find a bed in a nursing home, shut the fuck up. You let this happen. To the uncommitted crowd, kiss my entire ass. You threw a tantrum in a burning house. You withheld support in a two-party system like it was a badge of honor, while fascists waltzed in through the front door. You didn't force anyone's hand. You didn't move the needle. You just cleared the path for disaster. When Medicaid vanishes, when your rights shrink, when lives fall apart, know that you helped light the fuse. To every anti-Kamala leftist, fuck all the way off. You're not revolutionaries. You're not fighting the system. You're just bitter, sanctimonious edgelords who hate seeing a black woman in power more than you hate fascism. You'll write 17-paragraph posts on grammar and tone, while Republicans strip bodily autonomy, crush healthcare, and drown us in debt. You're not allies. You're fucking dead weight. Get out of the lane. We're done coddling your smug inaction. This bill isn't conservative policy. It's legislative warfare. The top 1%, 75,000 in annual tax breaks. And the top 0.1%, 6 figures, easy. Regular people, a few $100, maybe. Low-income families, punished with red tape and bureaucratic landmines. And Medicaid, it's not just being slashed, it's being gutted. $1.3 trillion erased. Hospitals, bankrupt. ERs, shuttered. Nursing homes, collapsing. All so Republicans can tongue-kiss billionaires and call it policy. This bill punishes the very people who voted for it. Poorer red states, rural towns, elderly voters who backed Trump thinking he gave a damn. And guess what? You weren't tricked. You were thrilled. So yes, I hope you suffer deeply. I hope you choke on every cut you cheered for. I hope you watch your towns dry up. Your parents turned away from care. Your neighbors die waiting for Medicaid approvals. Because this is what you wanted. And now you get to live it. This isn't just failure. This is sabotage. Designed, deliberate, and devastating. And to everyone who helped make it possible, whether you voted for Trump, didn't vote at all, played uncommitted politics, or sabotaged the left from inside, you can all go fuck yourself.
They passed the bill, just like we knew they would. And I just have to take a moment to say I have spent my entire life listening to every single Republican I know in my extended family, in my community, and in my many red state workplaces complain that the national debt would be our undoing. And through gritted teeth, they seemed to lament that we would have to come after entitlement programs if we wanted to save ourselves. Because yes, it is true that Medicaid, Medicare, and Social Security make up over half of our federal spending. And even though these programs pay for themselves through a healthy and secure society, the kinds of people who can artificially reduce health and happiness to line items on a budget cannot resist the urge to circle those alleged costs as targets for cuts. Like the clueless and ignorant CEO who thinks he can cut pay and benefits without reducing employee happiness or productivity. These people actually believe that federal revenue won't be harmed by ripping healthcare and food support away from 10 to 15 million workers and consumers. And now here we are after 50 fucking years of listening to them cry about how expensive it is to take care of our citizens. They get their wish and they cut $1 trillion fucking dollars from Medicaid. Also, they can put those entitlement cuts toward the national debt, right? Right? Fuck no. They took $1 trillion worth of food and healthcare for poor people, and they borrowed another $2.3 trillion on top of that. And they gave it all to the ultra-wealthy through tax cuts. Same wealthy people who, over that exact same 50 years of crying, saw their income increase by as much as 420%, while the rest of us broke even at best or backslid into poverty at worst. Fact is, across every single facet of life, religion, politics, economics, culture, and crime, the Republican Party you know today is nothing more than the party of debt, poverty, cruelty, and above all else, hypocrisy.
They passed the bill. The pro-life party passed the bill to uninsure millions of Americans. Children, 1 in
In this video, we are literally saying the big beautiful bill has already been passed, and the people who are going to hurt are millions and millions of Americans. Remember, in this big beautiful bill, they're literally cutting down on Medicaid, they're literally cutting down on SNAP benefits, they're literally cutting down on the poor who are benefiting through the health insurance, and they have already increased trillions and trillions of dollar in debt, American debt, that is the government debt. And then of course in the process they have given more money to the ultra wealthy people in America, that is the millionaires and the billionaires, who literally they have money, so they, in terms of paying daily to day bills, they're well taken care of. Remember, their net worth is in millions and millions of dollars. Now take this picture. There are kids who literally depend on this Medicaid in order to get access to health insurance, I mean to get health facilities, doctors, medicine. There are kids, there are military people, veterinary people who literally depend on Medicaid. There are literally rural people who are depending on Medicaid. There are millions, over 17 million of Americans are going to suffer as a result of budget cuts in the Medicaid. You're being told different state they use different name, but all it's still under Medicaid. And the reason why is because nobody wants to associate that name Obamacare. That's the reason. But at the end of the day, people are going to suffer, and the majority are coming from the lower class, middle class, lower, and of course the middle class. The ultra wealthy, they're okay, they're fine, they can literally afford those extra, paying the extra dollars. But the people who are going to cry, the people who are going to be affected immediately, are the lower middle class and the lower class of American system. And even the homeless people are going to be affected. People are going to be forced to choose whether they take their children to the hospital to pay that bill, or to forego buying grocery, food, because they cannot afford the two bills. People will be forced to make choices whether to eat a sandwich for the whole week, for the whole month, you know, in order to afford paying the electricity bill, or to forego electricity bill in order to afford food. I mean, this is what's going to happen to a lot of people, because a lot of Americans are saying they depend on paycheck to paycheck. And if in a situation where they're forced to pay a bill where they've increased like $100 or $50, usually their budget is spoiled completely, because they have no savings whatsoever, because they're only depending on paycheck to paycheck. And that's the reality of how Americans are surviving right now. So this big beautiful bill, as much as they say it's big beautiful bill, it's only favoring the rich. But in terms of the common citizen who depends on their 9-to-5 job, or who depend on part-time jobs, or depend on paycheck to paycheck, those guys are the ones who are going to feel the effect of this big beautiful bill. Rural hospitals are going to be closed down. People are going to lose their jobs. People who stay in the rural areas are going to have difficulty to have access to those hospitals. So they'll be forced to travel miles and miles and miles, you know, just to access healthcare in another state, because they are living in a rural area. So the repercussions are going to be felt over a period of time, and only time will tell. But this is the result of voting the way people did vote, especially people in the southern state, who are majority of them are MAGA voters. Those are the people who are going to be affected, because most of them come from rural areas, and most of them depend on government pay cuts. They must depend on this Medicaid, they must depend on these SNAP benefits. Majority of them are uneducated, majority of them depend on this, and those are the ones who are going to be first being affected. Karma is a bitch. This is a lesson people need to learn. People need to look at themselves, listen, and then do your own research, because the next election is just around the corner. It's just a matter of you know who has your best interest at heart, so that the next election you do your best, you vote for the person who's going to help you, your community, to thrive. Vote wisely, because each and every decision you do, each action, it has an equal reaction to it. So these are the reality, these are the consequences, and the chicken has come home to roast. Who is to blame? Only time will tell. Let me know what you think and drop your comments. Subscribe to my channel. Bye bye.